Today I want to talk a little bit about committing suicide. So, in some years ago, the Greek philosopher Epictetus wrote that a human person should not complain about life, because he always has the choice to end his life. He can make a decision whenever he wants to commit suicide, and then to get out of the game of life. So if he is not happy with life, so he can't complain, because he always has the way out. You don't choose to be born, but you can choose to finish with it whenever you want. And it sounds very simple, but as we know, it's not so simple to end our lives. We know. We know it's not simple. We maybe even if the situation is so difficult and we have pain, we still want to live. Hopefully, most of us. And there is one answer, that maybe we don't commit suicide because it will affect other people, our friends, our family. They will be sad, and because if we kill ourselves, we make harm to our loved ones. So maybe that's why we don't commit suicide. But I thought that maybe the answers is more personal, because I prefer an answer, because yes, we can live. We don't live for others, basically. We care about others, but I don't think this is our main drive for life. And when I thought about it, it was after I read the chapters of The Little Prince that I told you about yesterday. I think the answer lies in the answer of the fox. To summarize, just the prince found out that in order to establish ties, to build connections, there is a need of time. So when you're born, you can't immediately think about committing suicide. Like, you will maybe think about it when you are older. But let's compare it to another thing. Like, you are with a friend, and it's a good friend, and suddenly starts to become very negative and depressed, and you see that it gives you it damages you with his negativity, because you're soaking it from him, and then you become more negative. So, but because you established a tie with him, because you know him for so many years, so it's hard to break it. It's hard to kill the friendship. It's like commit suicide committing suicide of the relationship. It's hard because there is a time in between. Like, you know him for 5 years, and he is a good friend, and suddenly he is very negative. So you should not complain, because every time you can finish it. That's the answer of Epictetus, if we will put it here in this case. But it's not so simple because there is the time you waste together. So what I think is, because when can you start thinking about ending your life? When you're maybe 7, 8. It's a complicated thinking. It's not something. It's not simple. You can think about it when you're 2 years old or 3 years old. I guess not. I'm not there to check it, but I guess you need some time in order to think about it. So what I think is that because you established a tie with yourself and with life, you know yourself because you are living. So because you live for, let's say, 7 years, and you wasted time being with yourself, you became like a friend with yourself, and you don't want to break it. It's not so easy to break it, because there is a time that you wasted on being you. And I think that this is the main reason why we don't commit suicide. This is the reason why we have a drive for living, because living is our default state, and we are used to be in this default. We don't know what will happen after death. We don't know if we can stay, if we will live somewhere else, if we will disappear. We can't know. We can only guess. But what we know is that our default is being alive, and we invested time on it, so we can't break it so easily. So I think this is the reason why, because we establish a tie with ourselves, not because we don't want to hurt our loved ones. Yes, maybe if we are going to make a decision, we are thinking about it, we will consider our loved ones, but the actual hardship of doing these terrible things, of killing yourself, why is it so difficult? Because we wasted time being with ourselves.